In this video, we're going to create the attack system for our Moss Giant. Right now, we have all of our code for the attack for our skeleton within our skeleton script. And the goal here is to ideally replace the logic and have it be inside of our enemy class where it can share that logic across all of the enemies. Before we go ahead and experiment with taking a modular approach, let's first focus on just getting the functionality. Once we get the functionality and we can confirm that the Moss Giant and the skeleton have identical code, at that point, we can then take the code and merge it into the enemy class. For instance, our spider, just foreshadowing ahead, is probably going to have a different attack system than our skeleton and Moss Giant, and therefore we may end up overriding its attack method. But for the time being, what we can do is we're going to do a similar process to what we do with the skeleton, and we're going to apply it to the Moss Giant. And then once we confirm it's identical, we'll then merge it into enemy. Because as you can see here, everything is done within the movement system and the damage function. So to get started, we need to first slice up our sprites. Hop into your sprites folder, your characters, Moss Giant, and we need to create our attack animation. Go to sprite mode, select multiple, and open up the sprite editor, hit apply. And let's go ahead and slice this. This is going to be a 512 by 512. Hit slice. Make sure there's individual squares on each one. Hit apply. And we're good to go. Once that's finished, go ahead and X out of this, and we're going to create our attack animation. So to do that, we need to select our Moss Giant enemy, which is right here. And then with it selected, select the sprite, and then open up the animation view. That's going to bring us its animation controller so that we can create a new animation for it. We have idle and walk. We're going to create a new clip, and we're going to call this attack animation. So attack. And we're going to save this inside of sprites, characters, Moss Giant animations. Once we've saved that, we're going to then take the Moss Giant attack frames 0 through 15, and you're going to drag them into the animation view. Once you've done that, you can then sample it, and you'll see here it's super big. Now, the reason why it's super big is we just need to actually change the pixels per unit. So if you select the Moss Giant attack, go ahead and change it to 512 because that's what we're using, a 512 by 512. Hit apply. And that will bring it down to normal size. So now we code to idle, attack, and then here we can sample it. So for the sample rate, let's go ahead and make this about 15 frames per second. And you'll see that we have a nice slash attack. And maybe make it about 20 frames per second. I'd say that looks good. All right, and that's our attack. Okay, I'll see you guys in the next video.